Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about the Walking Dead comic, issue 164. Now, I know recently I was sick, and unfortunately my daughter got sick, so I wasn't able to go to the comic book shop today because she stayed home from school, and it is just freezing rain outside, and I was not about to drag her out in that weather, so I can't show off the variant comic cover that comes with this issue. It has amazing art. I'll show it on screen, but I wanted to show you this comic book I had since the early 90s when I was a kid at the grocery store picking up some comic books, but it was made in this style. This is issue 4. I think they had issue 1. I don't even know when or where I picked up this, but I've had it for years in a box, and I just recently was cleaning stuff out and found the box, and I was going to toss it out, and I seen this is the same style. They're doing a retro look to some of the variant covers all this year, maybe. I think every single month is going to have different covers that are going to look like this, but it's going to have our characters on it, like Outcast and The Walking Dead and everything like that, to celebrate 25 years of Image Comics. So again, I'll put a picture on screen, the comparison images, but with that being said, when I get the variant, I'll show it off in my update comic book video that I do. Anyway, I like this issue. I thought it was a good read. I can even picture some fans saying it's a great read. However, something was just lacking. I feel like there was a lack of tension and suspense, especially considering the content, like the material in this story, especially with the characters on the horse steering away the herd. I really truly feel like there was a lot more potential for some very suspenseful moments in this issue, and I could definitely see where the writer's mind was thinking, Kirkman's mind was thinking, and focusing heavily on the aspect of Rick and Negan inside the building. That seems like it would occupy your main focus when you're like, okay, we're going to have this important part, and I need this to be something that's going to be a turning point in the story. I could definitely see the focus being on that. So it might not have been the primary focus to make this a really suspenseful and action-packed, tension-filled issue. With that being said, let's recap it real quick. We got the Hilltop survivors making it to Alexandria. Negan helps Rick take shelter inside a building. They end up talking while the walkers are outside blocking their exit. We have Andrea, Eugene, Dwight, and others. They begin to steer the herd away, and this is cool because it is a callback to issue 127 when we were first introduced to the new beginning in this time skip when they were using that horn to steer the herd away. And then we get the Saviors preparing to attack. Now, the thing about this story right now is it feels fresh, but it also feels like it has a hint of the old story, specifically No Way Out. It has that herd taking over Alexandria feeling to it, but there's a little bit of freshness there because the characters are different, the story's different, what's going on is different, and there's also that hint of remixing All Out War and combining No Way Out, and that was leading a lot of my expectations. I was kind of picturing something a little more suspenseful where we had Whispers in the herd, and I think I might have, and this is why I thought this was a good read, but I was expecting a little more, is because I was picturing something like a few Whispers are leading this herd. Let's say these Whispers are on a kamikaze mission. They know they are going in, they're going to kill as many as possible, and they might not make it out. They're okay with that. So they lead the herd into the gates of Alexandria, and we see everyone start to flee. Everyone takes shelter in the houses, and this is reminiscent of No Way Out. As the herd starts piling in, this is where we have an amazing potential where you get the Whispers who need to stay camouflaged, so they need to act like the walkers. They can't act out of character. So when they lead a herd up to a house and the walkers are surrounding the building, they hear people inside, they see curtains moving, they know people are in there, and this is where they start jimmying the locks or smashing windows. Maybe they lean on it, press on the window, smash in, bust through the doors, open the doors, unlock the doors, but they got to be slick about it, not to draw attention to them from the walkers, so then the walkers will turn on them. So this slows down everything with what the Whispers can do, and they now have to break in a little more slowly. This gives the victims time to go, oh my god, they're getting into into the house. We need to do this, that, and the third. They can either sneak out the back doors, a few of them, some of them. Now, this obviously would lead to a lot more deaths, and it would be a lot more side characters. Now, that's probably not the direction they wanted to take, but I just thought that would be a vicious way to deal with this storyline. Imagine you have Rick and Negan. They are stuck. They can't get out of this situation right now. So they are forced to sit and talk, and that's fine. And they are not aware that there's whispers terrorizing the other members in the community, and where you have these whispers opening the doors, leading the herds into the buildings, catching up with some of these survivors, killing them, getting to other buildings, and you can see other survivors looking out, seeing as the herd is moving towards them. I think this just had so much awesome potential to be very suspenseful in that, because you have the herd, you have the whispers hidden in the herd, and then you have the whispers who can't act out of character, or else the herd will turn on them, because we know now the idea is once you are blended in the herd, you're camouflaged. But if you make different sudden movements or sounds or noises or anything that is out of the ordinary that catches their attention, they'll turn on you. And I know it sounds like maybe that would be a lot of just going in and out of houses and stuff like that, but I think if you just had a few different pages of that type of story unfolding, I think that would have been suspenseful enough. Maybe even have that story taking over 2 issues, just to give you some idea on why it wasn't like blowing me away. But again, I still stand by, it was a good read. I enjoyed it. Now we get Carl rallying the troops again. That ties into the possibility of Carl running into a free Negan down to Alexandria, and how is he going to react to that. But I like this version of Carl. So I like seeing this Carl who is being built up as a new leader. So in 20, 30, 40 issues from now, it will be like a slow progression into supporting Carl as a new leader, and it won't be overnight, is what I'm saying. Now we got Negan helping Rick, and I like this because it kind of feels like Robert Kirkman put a little joke in there, because a few issues back we had a lot of artists online throwing out images of Negan carrying Rick off the battlefield or carrying him into battle. I forget, but I kind of feel like Kirkman put that in there for the fans as like a little joke. But I was getting a little frustrated with Rick not talking a lot, especially when Negan was opening up, and you kind of would feel like Rick would want to snap out on him, give him a piece of his mind or something. But I love Rick's answer when Negan asks him what was the worst thing you did. I thought we were going to get, one of the worst deaths, like gutting that dude on the road or some vicious kill like that, even though the dude definitely deserved it. But I thought it was going to go in that direction. Instead, he talked about how it's like survivor's guilt, essentially, that he's alive when others should be, Negan's backstory definitely has some connective tissue in this issue, specifically as he's talking about all the people that were dying, all the people that he met when society was falling down, who were just weak, and it was if they wanted to die. If it was as if they were giving up, even though they were, trying to live, fighting to live. It was if they were going out of their way to die. That's how Negan saw them. He saw them all as weak and helpless and pointless. He does put Dwight in that box, and I kind of feel like that doesn't fit with Dwight. So maybe Dwight was a little bit different when Negan first met him. Hopefully we'll see some of that in Negan's backstory. But Negan says some messed up shit, and he talks about how, he killed Glenn essentially to save Glenn's friends. And I know that's a messed up way to put it, and that doesn't redeem Negan. This is not a story where Negan's saying this and that's gonna forgive him for his actions. And I'm glad that Negan puts it out there that this isn't an excuse. I know it's fucked up, and Rick, you're the one who helped me see that's fucked up. And I really like this, and I know this is gonna be one of those, storytelling tropes where people say, oh, you got the good guy and the villain, and they're going to bond over this conversation. You got the villain becoming the good guy or becoming a good guy, and he doesn't have to necessarily become a good guy. He can work like with an alliance with the good guys. That's absolutely fine. I'm cool with him, having an alliance with the good guys, but still being kind of a villain. That's fine with me. He doesn't have to, and I know this seems odd, and we will discuss this in a different video, but he doesn't have to always be fighting, attacking, killing the good guys in order to be a villain. They could do something unique and different with him. Not all that unique and different, but there's definitely room to play around with that story. But let's think if if Negan is definitely honest here, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about him opening up and saying the worst thing he did was leaving his wife's body to rot on some floor at a hospital? He didn't even go in to put her down to see her get killed. When she became a monster, that was it to him. It was like he was cut off completely, and he still doesn't even know why he acted that way. And I'm wondering, will we get a Negan who's going to want to go on a little journey to that hospital? It's not all that far. It'd probably only take him a little bit of time to get over to Washington, D.C., if that's where he was at, right? I'm almost positive that was the sign on the hospital. But will Negan go back, find the bones of his wife, and give her the burial that she deserved? I think that's an interesting idea, and I think it would connect nicely with the backstory. And again, it would just be a pile of bones there, but it's the idea of giving her the burial that she deserves. Now, that's pretty much it with Negan and Rick. They ended it where Negan decides or volunteers to go out and fight while Rick can sit back and give him backup. So they're going to have more fighting coming up. And then we have the Saviors who are making their slow, entrance onto the battlefield. They're just watching and they're going to wait. And now it feels like they're walking into a bad idea, because before it seemed like, man, they might have something going here where they can strike when the people at Alexandria are at their weakest. But now you're getting the feeling that, man, the people at Alexandria are getting ready to go in and battle. They got a good little system going, and if the Saviors show up, they might only last 2 issues and be done with. They, enter the battlefield in issue 165. They're dead by 166. You know what I mean? Now, in the back of the issue, in the letter hacks, they talked about the Mega Box. Now, the Mega Box, if you don't know, is a new Skybound subscription box where they come out 4 times a year, I think it is. The next one is in spring. The one before this one was the Negan-themed box. And the next one in spring is going to have, I think this is Sean, the editor. I think this is his all-time favorite figure they've ever done. And he says 4 comic books. And I just have no idea what 4 comic books they're going to put in there. I know they did a lot of Negan Kills, like 3 or 4 different ones. So I think that would be cool if they put 2 of them in there, 3 of them in there. I don't care if it was all 4 of them, if it would the Negan Kills, or I have a feeling it's going to be the Skybound comics. Like they'll throw in a Green Valley, because again, it's giving the customer something, but they're also going to use this opportunity to promote what they got coming out. It wouldn't make sense for them to not promote something. So Green Valley, Outcast, Invincible, other stuff they're doing besides The Walking Dead. I'm not sure what it is though. And they also talk about the possibility of doing a Praise Jesus, which would be in the Image Plus, kind of like the Here's Negan, and it would be the Jesus' backstory. Now, that was a joking title. A fan said, would you do a Praise Jesus? And I think it would be cool to do a Jesus backstory. I do not think it would be as popular as Negan. I think he has a bigger fan base, but I still think that Jesus has a big enough fan base, and that would be a good enough idea if the artist Charlie Adler had enough time to do something like that, and if Kirkman had enough time to whip something together. And the last thing I want to mention is Kirkman did confirm that he's not calling this part of the Whisperer War because the Whisperers are gone. Now, that is something I agreed with. I said that in part 6 of the Whisperer War. It's the one thing that makes the most sense. But with that being said, I still hope that they do something unique with the Whisperers. I'm in no rush for them to bring them back into the story just to die soon. I hope there's a little bit of a delay and there's something smart and unique coming for the Whisperers. Now, that's issue 165, a good in-depth discussion. I know we get these issues only once a month, so I try to give a little bit of a meaty discussion for you guys. I hope you liked it. Give me your thoughts and opinions about this issue. Again, I thought it was good. It definitely could be great, except for my expectations were leaning a little more toward something that was edge-of-your-seat suspenseful, and I just didn't get that. There was 1 or 2 moments where it felt like we were going in that direction, but then once we got Negan and Rick in the building, I realized the focus would be on that, and at that pivotal moment, how that changes the story moving forward, because of obviously if they can work together, that's going to be a big difference. You can have Rick as a leader, Negan as muscle, you have other characters doing different things as well, so this might help to expand the world of The Walking Dead by venturing out into the world and seeing what else is out there. Now behind this video I'm going to upload the prediction video, so keep an eye out for that. That will be 2 videos today. I'm going to shut up and get right on that. Leave your thoughts and opinions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.